Well, let's change the pace now. It's business news. Stephen Carroll joins me in the studios. Stephen, good morning to you.
Hi, Rochelle.
We start in the US, where Steven Mnuchin has been confirmed as Treasury Secretary. Have I pronounced his name correctly there?
Mnuchin.
Mnuchin,
I think everyone was looking for the moment where he said it out loud so we could all know for certain. But Steven Mnuchin has been confirmed, the former Goldman Sachs executive, confirmed by the US Senate by 53 votes to 47. He'll now take charge of a department with power over taxation, bank regulation, anti-corruption policies and fighting terror financing. Now, since first being named, Mr Mnuchin has said that he plans to implement tax cuts and roll back the Dodd-Frank banking reforms. He was criticised during his confirmation hearing by opposition Democrat senators for his role as a banker in the run-up to the 2008 financial crisis, but President Trump says that he's the right man for the job.
Steven is a financial legend with an incredible track record of success. I've watched this over the years. He's been my friend for many, many years. Everything he touched has turned to gold. He's done an amazing job, and that's what we want for our country. He's distinguished himself through decades of achievement in finance and in banking, and has a degree of skill, talent, and insight that few will ever be able to match.
It has been a great experience to travel around the country with you for the last year, seeing so many parts of this country and meeting hundreds of business leaders. I share your economic vision and goals and committed to working with you to enact policies to grow the economy and make better economic opportunities for all Americans.
Well, Stephen, while all of this was going on, Wall Street was having a pretty good day.
Confirmation of Steven Mnuchin gave investors more hope of tax cuts and business-friendly policies from the Trump administration. That in turn pushed the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq on Wall Street to break new record highs, banks and industrial shares leading the gains there in trading on Monday. There was one star performer, though, on the American stock markets. That was Apple. The iPhone maker's shares closing at over $133 on Monday, a record closing figure, valuing the company at $700 billion. Investors particularly excited about the possibility that an augmented reality feature could be included in the next iPhone. That's after CEO Tim Cook expressed his enthusiasm for the technology in an interview that took place last week.
All right, well, is that optimism continuing in trading today, Stephen? European
shares starting the day in the red, actually. We're seeing perhaps some Valentine's Day sentiment with a bit of red on the stock markets in trading today. We're seeing London see the biggest falls. London's FTSE 100 down by about 0.25%. Lots of companies news moving the markets today as well. In Asia, Japanese shares closed down over 1%, dragged down by Toshiba. Their shares slumped 8% after the firm announced it was delaying the publication of its financial results by a month. We're expecting to hear about problems from their US nuclear facility, so that will have to wait a month to get the full details of that. Some more of the day's business headlines for you next. Drivers for Uber and its rival Ola in India held a fourth day of protests on Monday as they seek better pay from the ride-hailing companies. Many drivers logged off the apps, with users in central Delhi reporting no cars available on Uber during the day on Monday. Now, the company won a High Court injunction to stop unions from interfering with drivers who wanted to work while the protests were taking place. Spanish authorities have begun a criminal investigation into the former central bank and the stock market regulator over Bankia's ill-fated stock market launch. The lender was nationalised at the height of Spain's banking crisis in 2012. A year previously, its shares had been publicly floated, but internal Bank of Spain emails from 2011 showed concern over serious solvency and liquidity problems at the bank. Losses at Credit Suisse were bigger than expected for the last 3 months of 2016. The bank lost around €2.2 billion for the period, mostly dragged down by its $5 billion settlement with the US Justice Department that was finalised last month. Shares in the bank, though, up by 2.5% at the open.
All right, Stephen, I was just about to ask, where's the love in all of this business? You beat me to it, though. Who is earning the most from Valentine's Day here in France?
It's neither you or I can tell you that much.
That's for sure.
Even for the most romantic of us, the 14th of February is undoubtedly a commercial holiday. In France, restaurants say it's their busiest day since New Year's Day. 80 to 100% of French restaurants are booked out, according to booking websites. The average spend on a meal on Valentine's Day is €40 a head. according to the Restaurants Association. Florists do very well as well. Last year, 1.3 million flowers were bought on Valentine's Day, but that was down by 200,000 on the previous year. A total spend, though, of almost 25 million euros. Interestingly, though, chocolate makers say that it's just the same as a busy Saturday for them. That's a big difference with the United States, where sweet treats account for almost half of all spending on Valentine's Day, and absolutely none of mine, I can tell you.
Well, that was a good reminder, Stephen, of those who haven't quite got their Valentine's
There's still
gift
time.
yet. There's plenty of time. Maybe a reminder text to somebody special not to forget. All right, Stephen, thank you for all the business roundup there.